Welcome back to my channel. Why do people mask suicidal thoughts? If you're new to the channel and you're wondering why I have these masks on, well, let's define mask. Mask is to hide, to disguise, or to conceal. So I'm only using these masks as illustration or to represent what we do when we are struggling with our mental health and we have masked our true feelings because we feel that we'll be ostracized or considered weak. And because mental illness and mental health is such a taboo subject, we choose to suffer in silence. But it's my goal to use my own testimony to empower you so you will no longer suffer in silence and learn to reach out for help, and that you're not weak. You're going through a mental health crisis that can be diagnosed and be treated. The month of May is observed for mental health awareness, but in my opinion, every day should be recognized as mental health awareness, because as we go about our daily lives, all of us are challenged by our mental health. We can experience a loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, become ill, get disabled, go through a divorce. So all of us are challenged daily with things that come up and challenge our mental health. So I wanted to unpack some childhood trauma that I've experienced as a child and never got treated for in our communities. Therapy wasn't talked about or introduced as an option. And even in my 12 years of therapy dealing with my postpartum depression, psychosis, and my current diagnosis is bipolar. I've mentioned times that I've been molested, but I've never unpacked it, as I've always suppressed my feelings. But the reason why I started this channel so we can learn to heal together. I don't have all the answers, but I want to use my own testimony and be vulnerable and be transparent so we can learn to heal together as a family. You are my family. So I choose to unveil my mask, and this mask would be during a molestation that occurred at an early child by my stepfather. So I have written a letter, and I would like to go over the letter with you today. I do have a disclaimer. The letter is graphic, and if you would like to exit now, you can. It says, "Dear Pops, today is the day I release my trauma. The trauma that you caused me to have at the age of 9. The day that I will never forget. The day that that little girl died inside. You sexually abused me and physically abused me. You molested me. I was an innocent child. You had no right to do what you did. How could you sleep at night? You used to threaten me and told me if I told anyone, you would kill the entire family. I had to bottle that up as a child and didn't tell anyone because I felt that if I did, I would cause the entire family to be killed. I had thoughts of suicide at an early age when I should have been learning, having fun, creating wonderful memories, living like a child, but instead I had to live with holding on to the trauma that you induced. I hated to see your truck at home when I would come around the corner from school. I hated you. I hated that I had to deal with your smell on me. I hated to look you in your face. I hated that you bullied me and intimidated me. I was only a little girl. Why would you do this to me? I hated you as a little girl. How afraid I was of you and how you made me feel like I was your property. You caused me not to excel the way that I should at school, as I would have flashbacks of your abuse and panic attacks. How you would put a string on my finger and had it connected to you at night And when my mother and siblings went to sleep, you yanked that string to awaken me and have your way with me. How sick I thought of you. I hated you for beating me and my siblings while we were in the tub, while we were wet, taking a shower and a bath. You had no right to intrude on us and physically assault us. I still remember the webs and the pain that you caused. Not to mention when I slipped and hit my head on the tub. I hated you for bugging our telephone. You told me if I told anyone, you would know because you bugged the phone. I hated you if I would have been 5 minutes late coming home after the street lights came on. You would pull my hair and yank me into the house. I hated seeing my siblings and my mother get beat by you. I hated you, and I blamed you that I dropped out of college because I could not focus because of all the abuse and trauma you caused in nightmares. I thank God that he put Mother Johnson and my sister Sharice and brother in my life, not by blood, but by love. I was able to spend a lot of nights over their home. While my mother worked at night, she would drop me off over there so I wouldn't have to experience your abuse every day. I understand now why my 2 siblings went into the military early, to escape your abuse, and my older sister moved with my grandfather. I was the youngest. We never have discussed this as children or adults. After I moved at the age of 18, I never spent another night at that house when I came to visit, which was barely, because of you and all the abuse you caused. While some of my mother's siblings would praise you for taking us out the projects, but they did not know that you saw my mother as an opportunist. You saw that she had 4 siblings that you wanted to prey and molest. I was ridiculed for not allowing you to come to my wedding and walk you down the aisle. You did not deserve to walk me down the aisle or to deserve to attend my wedding, as you abused me as a child. I hated seeing you at my mother's funeral when you showed out and made a scene before they closed the casket. You made them reopen it as you looked at her for the last time. I'm sure from all the guilt you had, or just maybe I thought you asked for forgiveness at her deathbed. I hated you when you pretended like you was coming to see my mother in the hospital, when you didn't know my job from Texas allowed me to move to Memphis and get my mother situated after her aneurysm. And I hated you. I thought you contributed to the aneurysm for all the stress that you had endured to my mother. But finally, I spoke up at my mother's repast, which you did not attend. And one of my mother's siblings said again how you took us from the projects and we were the first black family in the neighborhood. I lost it. I was no longer that little girl inside. I exposed you and told everyone that you molested me and you beat my mother and my siblings, that you were not a father or protector. Yet, I thought I was the only one that was molested because my siblings and I never talked about it as children nor as adults. And we still have not addressed it. And I'm 50 years old. I'm sure it's painful for them as me as well. Everyone thought I was crazy after moving to Texas in my early 20s, that I didn't know anyone, but I wanted to run away from the pain and hurt you caused. So I thought by moving away, the nightmares and the panic attacks would go away, which they didn't. I just learned how to suppress them. You see, after all, you didn't destroy my dreams. You didn't see me get married. Such a beautiful wedding it was with all my friends and family. You didn't get to see me excel at my career I had for over 2 decades before I got sick. You see, that scary little girl matured into a woman and lived a productive life. You didn't see my home on the golf course. Yes, I don't have it today, but it was an accomplishment. So after all the trauma you caused, I'm still living and fighting today. You see, I didn't realize the trauma made me stronger to face my adversities today as I continue to fight and not give up. I hid behind a mask all those years. And today, as Bishop T.D. Jakes often says, turn your pain into purpose. And Oprah says everyone has a calling. So I've answered the call. And the call is, why do people mask suicidal thoughts? This is the platform that has been birthed from pain, but it will be a cure to unmask the pain that people are holding on to trauma of being molested. As I unveil my mask today, I will help others unveil their mask. I am choosing to turn my pain into purpose because I know that there are a lot of people in the world that needs healing too. But today, at the age of 50, I forgive you. I never had a chance to confront you before you died and didn't attend your homecoming because of the pain you caused. But according to Luke 6:35, God said, but love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great. And you will be children of the Most High, because he is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful to you. You see, I never told you at the age of 13, I met a man and accepted him as my Lord and Savior, and his name was Jesus Christ. And he had astonishing miracles that included raising people from the dead, restoring sight to the blind, and casting out demons, healing the sick, and he walked on water. As he was nailed to the cross for our sins and our pains, through his stripes we are healed, and I am healed today as I release my pain. So Jesus carried me for all those years and all the pain that I endured from you. So I forgive you, because I know you must have had some type of trauma in your life. Maybe a family member done what you done to me. Whatever the reason, as I would not know, because I never got an apology or an explanation, and I don't need anyone. So I no longer hate, because I'm reminded by a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So I no longer hate you. I forgive you. Apparently you never healed or got help, because our communities, we never talk about therapy. We're taught just to be strong and move on. And I never got therapy. And I've been in therapy for 12 years dealing with bipolar, and I've never healed this. But today I healed this with my YouTube family. I am free today as I heal my open wound that has been open for over 40 years. And I'm using my story and my testimony to help and free others. So we no longer will live in bondage around being molested. So you didn't win. I won today because I released my pain and my trauma. I win today because I'm helping people release their molestation they've dealt with and buried for years. So you didn't win. So I know my own strength now. And I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own strength. So I forgive you and forgive myself for holding all these memories that I suppressed them for so long. Signed by the little girl that died, but now is alive as a woman. Thank you for listening to my channel. And anyone on the other side, heal your trauma. Dig deep. Pull it out. So as